Hello, my name is Ali Habib, mechanical engineer from Lebanon. Today we will continue our tutorial for beginner in order to learn SolidWorks. Today we will do part 3. This is the part 3. It's also a 3D part. We'll start to do the 2D rectangle, then do it 3D. In order to do it 3D, we should do it extrude, then draw these parts and do this cut here and this hole of diameter 20 millimeter, and all these dimensions are in millimeter. We have here 90 millimeter, y x 50 millimeter, and z it's the height, it's 50 millimeter. Let's start to do it. Click here on SolidWorks. We click here on left click on part. Like we said before, all dimensions should be in millimeter. So here we should click on the arrow there to change from inch to millimeter. Left click on this arrow, change, click mmgs, millimeter, gram and second. Left click, perfect. Now choose wherever plane I should choose. I can choose front, top, right. Let's choose the front plane. Right click on it, then normal to, in order to have it directly in front of me. Then left click here on sketch in order to draw the 2D sketch. Then left click on sketch here. Okay, let's draw the rectangle. It's 90 by 50. I choose here the rectangle here. If I want to choose the center rectangle, I click on the arrow here, small arrow, right, on the right of the rectangle, center rectangle, and click there in the center point, then drag. Then choose the dimensions 90 by 50. I click here smart dimensions. Here I click 90. And here I click 50, typing 50 on the keyboard, and then I should do it extrude. Extrude here is the height of 20 millimeter, like you see here, it's 20 millimeter. So now I can do extrude. Like you see here, it's fully defined because it's all in black. All dimensions are inserted. Click here, then feature, like we said here, extrude 20 millimeter. I click here on feature in order to transform it from 2D to 3D. Extrude. Then type here, instead of 10, I type here 20 millimeter. Then click on the arrow, green arrow, then click another time. Okay, perfect. Okay, let me save it before. I click save. I want to save it on my folder desktop, SolidWorks Training for Beginners by Ali, part 1, part 2, and there is here part 3, save. Okay, now let me do this cut there. Like you see, this cut there is a rectangle. Then we will do an extrude cut in order to cut this rectangle in a 3D mode. It is in the height of 10 millimeter and width here is 30 millimeter. It means 30 by 10. I choose here, I rotate it by the wheel of the mouse, then drag it. And click here, left click on this face and right click on this face again, then click normal to in order to have it in front of me, in order to draw the sketch on this face, in order to extrude the rectangle on this face, extrude it and cut it in order to have the 3D cut here. Like we see here, it's 10 by 30. I click here 10 by 30 from the bottom here, 10 by 30. I click here on sketch in order to draw the rectangle. I can draw here a corner rectangle. I click here, like you see here mentioned on yellow, is the line, the bottom line. Left click on it, then drag it. then right click here and select. Like you see here, it's underdefined, it's in blue because it lags dimensions and it missed dimensions. Now I should put the dimensions like we see here. It's 10 by 30, 10 height, and here it's 30. You see here it's 10 by 30, and the distance of this rectangle from the edge here is 10 millimeters. Smart dimension. I click here on the line and here on the line, click again, I type here 10 millimeter. Perfect. Now I click on the yes here, correct, left click on the green tick, then I click on the wheel of the mouse and rotate it in order to steer the 3D cut. I click here on feature, then extrude cut in order to cut it in 3D mode. Then choose here, like you see, if it's blind, it has the width of 20 millimeter. I don't want a width of 20 millimeter. I want to cut it through all the parts. So here I choose, left click on blind and click here through all. Like you see here now, I've cut it all of it, all the part. Then I click yes and rotate it, and now you have obtained this cut. Right click, normal to. Okay, perfect. Then save it. Now I want to do this hole. This hole, it's of 20 millimeter, and this hole is in the center here. Before doing it, we can do here also draw this triangle and extrude and the cut there. Okay. So let's just draw this rectangle here. Rotate it, right click, normal to, press Alt on the keyboard and press the right arrow or the left arrow like that. Okay, it's in the center here. It's a 60 millimeter and it's on the width here. And I have here also a width of 10 millimeter. So here I right click, normal to, Alt and right arrow, sketch here and sketch, and here I want to draw a midpoint line from the center, because here it's a midpoint line of 60 millimeter from the center here. I click on the line here on the arrow, then choose midpoint line. I can choose midpoint line from the center here. The center is visualized here and the rectangular, yellow rectangular. I click left click and click also on the horizontal, left click, then right click, select. I choose the measure, it's here, it's 60 millimeter. I choose here smart dimension and click here a measure of 60 millimeter. Okay, so now like I say, it's underdefined, it's in blue, so we should drag it once again, drag it to the center here. This is the center, so once again it's not fully defined, it's in black. It's a 60 millimeter, then it's there. Left click on the line here, okay, to the edge, once again there. Vertical line, relay to see the yellow command, and click left click. Okay, then like we see here, it's an offset of 10 millimeter. We draw this. Now this, it is an offset of 10 millimeter, 10 by 10 by 10. How we can do the offset here? There's a command here, name of the command is offset. It's in the 2D sketch, so I enter here on sketch, Where is offset? Okay, here like you see we have offset. Left click on offset and choose here 10 millimeter. Okay, I left click on this line, so it has automatically entered and selected all the line. Like you see, it's all in 10 millimeter. Then I click select. So now I have obtained this all in 10 millimeter. Then I close the sketch, left click on the line, left click here and left click there, right click select, left click on the line, left click here and left click there in order to close all the sketch. Like you see, because now I have closed all the sketch, it have shaded sketch contours here in blue. So now I can extrude it. How much I can extrude it? It's 50 millimeter from the bottom, 50 millimeter from the bottom here, and here I have 20 millimeter, so it's a 30 millimeter from this face. 30 millimeter. I click feature here, extrude here, left click. I click here on 30 millimeter, type 30, and then enter, and then yes here, and then save it there. Okay, I have obtained now this sketch here. Now this is in the center. The hole here is in the center of this sketch here, and this sketch here is 20 millimeter. 20 right click here, normal to 20 millimeter sketch. I click here on the sketch in order to draw the circle. Left click on the circle, left click on the circle, then drag. Right click select. It's a dimension of 20 millimeter. I drag here dimensions 20 millimeter. I click here on the green arrow, yes. Then I choose the dimension here. It should be in the center of this line, and the center of the circle here should be perpendicular of the center of this line here, and the center of the circle here should be perpendicular of the center of this line here. How to do it? I can click here on the line, left click and click here on center line. Center line is just for construction. I click here on the line here, like we see here, the rectangular, yellow rectangular, it's in the mid. I left click on it and I left click on the center here, and then I click right click select, and then I click to do the relation. I click here, left click on it and do it horizontal in order to have it horizontal here. So now it's in the middle. It's kept under defined in blue because it lack also a dimension. Let me do the other relation. Center line here. I click here, also in the midpoint line in the rectangular here, yellow. Then drag the line to the center here and here. Let me repeat it again. Let me delete it. Center line from here, then to the center here, select it, right click select, then click left click on the line here, then click vertical. So it's now in its position fully defined in the center on the center here, and the center on the center there. Then I can 20 millimeter, then I can extrude cut feature, extrude cut through all in order to cut it all. Save. Okay, I have obtained now this circle, this cut circle. So now let's cut this here. It's a radius of 10 millimeter, and here the vertical it's just 10 millimeter from the center. Then I click here, left click on it, right click on it, then normal to, then click alt and press alt and press the left arrow on the keyboard many times. Then do create sketch in order to create the sketch here in order to cut it. So it's 10 and there radius 10. I click here on line, I choose the edge here, visualize yellow, I drag it vertically, then I select it, then I drag it in the random direction, then I return it to its initial position, then drag it once again in order to obtain the arc here, and drag it once again, then click it in its horizontal position, then drag another time on the vertical, then click it on the edge, then close the sketch here in order to make extrude, right click, select. Now it's in a blue, it's like dimensions, so we should put the dimensions in order to have it fully defined. So here it's 10 millimeter height, so smart dimension here, I click there and put here 10 millimeter. Left click on the arrow here. Then here radius 10 millimeter. Smart dimension. I click here and left click on it. And here radius 10. I click here also on 10. I have obtained now radius 10 millimeter. Okay, but now let's drag it to the center here. Let's click on the line here or on the edge here and drag it. Okay, how to obtain the center? I can click there, center line. Where is the center there? I can drag it once again. Let me do the third relation. Right click, select, display delete relation. We can click here on the line there and insert a point here on the center, like I mentioned here, a point in the center there, and in the center right click, select. Then also here right click and select a point here in the center, and click here also in the center, in the midpoint, right click, select, then click the midpoint line, control the midpoint line there and click coincident. Perfect. So now I have obtained the center of this line, and this on the center of this line, the two centers are coincident, so now I obtained this in the center. So now I can extrude it, cut, feature, extrude cut. I can extrude it all, blind or through all. I click on select, I click on save. Perfect. Now I should do the cut there. It's a 20 millimeter, at 20 millimeter, and here it's 10 millimeter. Rotate it, left click on it, right click, normal to. I click here on sketch, sketch. I click here line. Okay, so line here, it should be like mentioned, it's horizontal, right click, select. Like mentioned there, it's 20 millimeter. Smart dimension, 20 millimeter. It's 20 millimeter, and the height there, is 10 millimeter. From the bottom here, vertical, select, right click, select, smart dimension, and here put dimension there. I type on the keyboard 10 millimeter, like mentioned. Then I close the sketch there. Then I close the sketch there. So the part that I should cut is this part. So how can I cut this part? extrude cut from this triangle to this triangle, I should close it here. Once again, right click or line here. I click on the point here of the edge, another time point here of the edge, and the third point here on the edge. And now I can trim this line. You see here, trim and trim. So now I have obtained this closed sketch. I can now extrude it, cut through all. Feature, extrude cut. Okay, I want to extrude it through all. So here it's through all. So now I have obtained this triangle that should extrude cut it through all. Then I click on the green arrow, yes. Perfect. So now I have obtained my final part there. The cut there, the hole is also available, and the cut there, and this triangle cut is also there, as mentioned here in this isometric position. All of my dimensions are correct, and all of the cut and the extrude and the holes are correct. So let's do the final part, and to insert color here, I click here on the circle there and choose a color. I can choose, for example, the blue color. I can choose this blue color, correct, and I have obtained this final part. I hope you have enjoyed watching this tutorial video of part 3. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share my channel. Thank you for watching.